I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to tell you about my new book, The Moats Theory of Life. If you haven't picked up a copy yet, I strongly encourage you to. This book not only is a fun read, but it's a guide to helping you become a person of impact and inspiration. If you are ready to take the next step to improving not only your life, but those around you as well, go get a copy of The Moats Theory of Life, and it's available at moatstheory.com. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, bro?
Man, we living life, man. We had live sports this weekend that actually mattered. And I was going to ask, were you tuned in? Because I was tuned in, man.
Here's the thing.
Oh, snap. Here we go.
I was, because I watched 2 of the Pirate games.
Okay, so shout out. You saw the win or the loss? Which one?
Well, they're 1 and 2, so I saw the opening day loss.
Yeah.
I missed the 9-1 loss because
that's good.
I just didn't even know what time it was. I just assumed it was a Saturday. I thought it was going to be at nighttime, so I didn't catch that. I caught wind that they lost during the day, 9-1. So I was like, I didn't really miss anything. Then I tuned in on Sunday afternoon. Yeah. It was like the 6th or 7th inning, and then I watched them get their first dub of the season.
Which is why I got my Pirates hat on, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go Bucks.
Yeah, I was listening to the post game. They were really high on the win and acting like this was like the biggest deal ever. But they were making good points. Like, if we go 0-3 on this away stand, now all the pressure's on. All right, can we get a win at home? And the Brewers, honestly, just our division in general over the past however many years has always been pretty decent. The Brewers, the Cubs, the Cardinals. Reds haven't been that bad.
True.
So, yeah.
We've been the ones that's been struggling lately, man.
Good they got the first dub. Their lineup isn't too good. Pitching's not too good. But somehow, you never know with 8 teams making the playoffs.
Hey, anything can happen, man. They are in contention. It's late July. We got meaningful baseball, baby. So just enjoy it. Doesn't matter how we got here. You just got to roll with it, man. So I was excited about it, man. It was good to see the dub, which is why I'm rocking the hat. Not only did we have MLB action, which I thought from an optic standpoint was unique, man. Like looking at home plate, you see the cardboard cutouts of people. It threw me off at first, though. At first, I thought it was I thought it was like the because they keep having the replays going as well. So I'm thinking like, oh, this is an old game. And I'm looking like, no, this is really happening right now. And then when they pan out to the outfield, you see it was empty. I was like, all right.
Just give me a break with the cardboard stuff and
I like it.
Trying to filter in the fake noise. I don't know who's all doing that.
The
but
fake noise is weird because at a baseball game, it's never just that. It's not like a football game where it's constant.
Are they even doing that? I'm just hearing rumors.
No, they are.
I didn't really experience it whenever I was watching the Pirate game. I don't even think I had the volume on, really.
Yeah, because I watched the Pirates one. I watched the Angels and the Yankees. And it's like just a basic the whole time. But I'm like, you don't do that in baseball. It's not like you're sitting out there just cheering the whole time in baseball. You cheer when something happens. So it was a little different in that regard. But I thought from looking pitcher to home plate with the cardboards in the back, it actually looked good. I liked that.
That's fine.
From an optic standpoint, I like that so much more than with the NBA.
No way.
The NBA looked like Summer League, bro. I'm not going to lie. God's honest truth, I turned the NBA off to watch the WNBA, bro.
No,
I swear, bro. I was watching. You talked about like, oh man, like you're gonna get that vibe when you're watching the games, bro. I thought I was watching Summer League. First off, they weren't even playing hard, bro. Like some of the dudes were going hard.
I haven't watched an exhibition game.
Oh,
I've just watched Bulls highlights.
Bro, some of the dudes were going hard. Then you got the others. I'm just like, bro, this looks so just lackadaisical. And then because like they don't try to block it out like with the camera angle, so you could see. It's like, oh, this is an empty gym. You know what I mean? You can hear it. I'm hearing the PA announcer, and that's what's really blowing me, bro. If I couldn't hear the PA announcer, all right, maybe I could get more into it. I'm here, foul on number 12. I'm like, I don't want to hear the PA guy. That means it's nobody. It's empty. It's dead there. But it looked straight Summer League style. Whereas at least with the WNBA, they were going hard. But I'm chalking it up to, you know what? It was the first couple of games. You know what I mean? So maybe that's what's going on with the NBA, and they're going to warm up to it.
It's exhibition too, dude. Well, even for the regular season, for most of those teams, it's going to be more just exhibition and ramping up for the playoffs. I understand that, so when the playoffs hit, at least.
I hope you're right, because I try my hardest.
For the Pelicans, for the Grizzlies, some of these teams that are out of it are fighting for that spot. The Blazers, all their games are going to be intense for the regular season.
They should be, yeah. But I'm just telling you the game, and I watched multiple games, bro, and I was just like, This is trash. It hurt my heart. I was so mad because you really had me. I tried to buy into your method of once I watch it, I'm going to feel.
I haven't tuned in, dude. It's exhibition, man.
I felt the exact same way of watching the basketball tournament, the TBT. I was just kind of like,
don't worry. My prediction still holds.
I hope
it
so,
still
bro.
holds weight to me at least.
I hope so
because the real games haven't started yet.
I hope so because it starts this week. So yeah.
Right, Thursday.
Yeah,
Zion.
Like,
come on, right off the bat, we're getting Zion.
I hope that means something, man. I hope it means something.
I'm gonna tune in.
All right, I hope it's better than what I've been watching. That's all I'm saying, bro. Because it gave me major summer league vibes, bro.
All I've been watching is Bull highlights, so it's amazing so far to me.
But the highlights are like it's a quick 10 second, 20 seconds, man.
I know his highlights from that first game, dude. That was like 2 or 3 minute highlight.
No, it's not.
Bull.
I watched the game and I watched the highlights, bro. You could fit the whole highlights on Twitter. You could fit the whole highlights on Twitter,
YouTube,
bro.
it's over 2 minutes long.
Bro, you could fit the whole highlight on Twitter. If you cut the fat and just get to the plays of him, bro, it ain't 2 minutes.
I like the branding for some of these highlight channels.
Man.
I'm serious. House of Highlights, they got good branding. They got good thumbnails and everything.
Yeah, well, that's what adds time to it, man. I just want to see the real, like, cut all the fat. I don't need the music. I don't need after he gets the bucket, him running up the court. No. Let me just see efficient. Bucket, block, dunk. Okay, let me see all that. That's what I want to see.
Dude, he might be the truth.
We're going to find out.
He might be the truth. I think he's going to get some PT here.
We're going to find out.
In the playoffs. He should. Come on. You can't keep him off the court.
We'll find out, man. We're going to find out.
But yeah, so it's been good for me. I got to see my highlights. I got to see some Pirates. Yeah. And it was nice, the Pirates, because it was my dad's birthday and we were just hanging out.
Shout out to Big Deke.
Yeah, we were hanging out in the backyard, and then I was able to pull it up on my laptop, and I was just kicking it out there, having some beers.
Like it.
Pirate game. It was nice. It was nice. Just felt right. Felt like old summertime, you know.
Well, and then on top of those sporting events taking place, the NFL, they came up to an agreement in terms of players reporting, the protocols for the COVID testing. That's what we were waiting on that information to come out. They also talked about how you have the opt-out clause now. So if you are considered high risk, I thought it was 7 days.
I think
it's 7 days from the agreement.
Okay.
Yeah. But the thing that they did say was if you're deemed high risk, you can opt out. You'll get $350,000 along with the credited season. Whereas if you aren't high risk but you choose to opt out, you'll get $150,000 but no credited season or no accrued season. For that purpose, that's big for like your benefits, like once you retire, your health insurance, your pensions, 401ks, and things along that nature.
And from talking with you want to get those credited seasons as quick as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they do get janky.
Because
as it goes further back.
And then your contract for 2020 would be what you're playing out in 2021 as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they said those things along with the fact that the salary cap was supposed to not. They said it won't go lower than I think 100. Was it 175 or something like that? Yeah, but they said that it could increase though if revenue boosts, which would be magical to me because I don't really see how that's going to happen. But either way, I like it.
Yeah, dude. It seems like everyone's on the same page with it. I mean, they're trying to do these. I don't even know there's four letters that makes up this acronym. It's like these plans.
The COVID response team.
These disease plans. So they're in that process right now. The teams are sending in their response plans, and NFL got to approve them. A third party, I think they said from Duke's got to approve them too. Yeah. And a decent majority. I think I was reading right before I came. It was 20 out of the 32 teams, and I think the Steelers got approved. So
so it's been a good amount of teams to get approved. But I think the biggest thing right now is they're going to have to be implementing some of these things sooner than later. Was it as of today? I think 6 teams have reported, and they've had 12 players not even the full teams, just of the 6 teams that reported, only their rookies reported, and they've had 12 players test positive thus far. So just figuring that whole thing out. But they did say that they'll allow you to put a person on short-term IR if they were to catch COVID, because obviously you have to quarantine for the 14 days, and you can move up a player from the practice squad without having any issues with having to worry about waivers going back and forth, along with them saying that you can have up to 6 additional people on practice squad, that it doesn't matter what stage they are in their career. So I was like, that was pretty interesting, man.
Didn't I say that a couple weeks ago about like adding some roster spots?
Instead of asking it,
How much money they getting?
Well, no, this is the thing. They haven't went into the details of it, but the 6 additional
it's not going to hurt your cap.
Yeah. But it's strictly going to be practice squad guys. So I'm assuming it's going to be practice squad salaries, which is the unique part because, I mean, in theory, you could put a guy who was a starter for the past 4 or 5 years on a practice squad. In theory. Now, granted, what I want to know is from a money standpoint, how does that work out? Because if you're a guy who's a veteran, who your minimum is X amount of dollars, you getting a practice squad salary is drastically different. In fact, for some people, you probably would make more money if you did the traditional opt-out. I mean, the non-high risk opt-out, you probably will make more or the equivalent to what you would make on practice squad. Because just doing the math, practice squad, you'll get around 100, 115. Whereas if you do the opt-out, you get 150.
You really think one of these guys are going to get screwed like that, or a couple of them?
No, I'm just saying in general, like, it's a business. It's a business, bro.
But if it's a four-year veteran, you're thinking they're going to make more of an impact on the team. It's going to be better to have them on the active roster.
Well, you would hope that, yeah, but it's no different than I've seen guys that...
Like, what scenario would they be putting a 4 or 5 year veteran on the practice squad?
Well, look at a guy, this would have been in 2017, right? We had Steven Johnson and we had LJ Fort. This before LJ Fort signed his extension. Steven Johnson was with us prior to going to Baltimore. So literally both of those guys were sitting at Stevie was 3 games away from being vested. LJ had another season before being vested. So what they did the Saturday morning before we were going to go to Cleveland for the opener, if Stevie Johnson is on the roster it was either by 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, then he gets a credited season because he's on the opening day roster and things like that. So from a money standpoint, benefit standpoint, he would be good. So what the Steelers did, they cut him Saturday at 9 a.m, kept LJ as the 53rd guy on the roster. And then literally after the game, they cut LJ, brought Stevie back. So then that way he was week to week and he would have to play up to 4 games to get that credited season, which he ended up not doing.
Oh.
So and that's just one example. That was here in Pittsburgh. I've seen numerous examples where a guy, he needs 3 games that season. They play him in 2, and then they will not dress him again for the rest of the season. Or they have him on the active roster throughout the week. Cut him on Friday or cut him on Saturday morning. Bump up somebody else so they get the credited game, and then the following week they bring him back so that way he's still getting money, but he'll never get the opportunity to get the credited season. Trust me, it happens more than you think, bro.
I should just take your word for here on out and just say, all right, you never know.
So it will be some guys that when it comes time to, all right, listen. I mean, because every player does this. I mean, you're not supposed to, but every player has done this at some point in their career, especially the superstar guys. You come to camp and you look into your room like, dang, all right, it's 10 linebackers in here. We only keeping 6. How confident are you that you're a top 6 linebacker on your team? If you're confident, well, hey, you gonna ball out, you ain't tripping. Say you that guy that think you like the 7th or 8th best linebacker in there, and you like, I could be 50-50 if I make it or not, or they might try to practice squad me. Let me take that opt-out, get this guaranteed 150. So then that way you don't have to worry about the practice squad or worried about potentially being cut altogether and not getting any money. That's the business element of it, bro.
Okay, this is just if you're one of the 80 right now.
Yeah.
You could be doing that. Really?
Yeah. And that's the thing. They have up to the 7 days. They have, I want to say 7 days from either when they report, because teams supposed to report this week.
If you're one of those bottom 20 or 30.
Exactly.
That could be a good move.
It's risk reward though, because you have to ask yourself, okay, if I opt out,
you got to think long term then for your career. Because if you're not on the roster going through the training camp, that could affect your career negatively long term.
But if you go on the roster and you don't make the team, obviously you're not going to have the film out there for other teams to get you. You're not going to have any money or potentially the opportunities like in traditional years to get picked up. So yeah, there are a lot of things that they're going to have to decide with that. So that's what for me, I'm like, I could see multiple ways of how you could do this. I mean, we've already had one player opt out.
At least they gave those options, right? We
were
kind of talking about that of what's going to happen with the NFLPA and the NFL. Yeah. It seems like there's a decent middle ground with all this right now. And
we've seen at least one player opt out. The guard for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's actually a doctor.
Yeah, he's
so I was like, that was pretty cool, man. I was like, that was pretty cool to see him say, you know what, I'm chilling. I'm going to go ahead, opt out, do my medical thing. I'll holler at y'all on the next time. So I was like, all right, that's cool. So it'd be interesting to see just as this thing progresses, how things play out. But the flip side too is how successful this is going to be in terms of the COVID response that they have and things like that, because we talked about how the NFL isn't using a bubble concept. They're having the players stay home, do what they do. We saw in baseball though, just yesterday and today, they've had an outbreak with the Miami Marlins. And the reason it's the correlation is because baseball, they're not doing a bubble. They're doing it like how football is going to do it. So they had a big breakout where as of today,
little less travel for NFL, like more spaced out. But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
same
they had
kind of concept.
they're at, I think they said up to 20 people. It's 12 players definitely, but up to 20 people have tested positive in the Miami Marlins organization. So they canceled their games today and tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. And then also the Phillies who were playing them, as of yesterday, played them actually. They canceled their game versus the Yankees that'll be today, and I think they canceled another game that they would have tomorrow, just so that way they can get their guys tested and stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that situation plays out. I know the MLB
just play some double headers in a month or two.
Well, no, they said from a scheduling standpoint, that's the issue. Like trying to avoid the Marlins on the schedule, or trying to avoid the Phillies, since they were playing the Marlins in close proximity, it throws a lot of the stuff off. So they actually, the MLB supposed that they had an emergency meeting today to discuss like what they want to do going forward, because right now, I mean, it's a big deal for that one team or potentially those two teams. But as this thing progresses, if this happens again, or if it happens 3 times, 4 times, like how do they handle it? So there were some concerns around that. And obviously with the NFL, because it's a lot more people, along with the no bubble concept, those are some of the issues that they got to worry about.
Didn't they come up with some stuff of like, hey, if you get the COVID and it's proven that you were out doing some of this stuff? Because we were talking about like with the NFLPA and then with players getting reimbursed or, just getting that money for having COVID. You know, what's the proof of they're getting it outside of the NFL facilities or, in the NFL facilities? But I guess they came out with something. What was it? It was like 5 or 6 activities.
So this is what they said. They said if you participate in a high-risk activity and that's how you contract COVID, then you do face potential repercussions in terms of them docking your pay and things on that. And some of the things they said was going to an indoor nightclub with more than 15 people, going to an indoor bar with more than 15 people, other than to pick up food. So I know how you like to go to the bar and stuff like that. An indoor house party with more than 15 people, an indoor music concert, entertainment event with more than 15 people, a professional sports event other than the NFL game with more than 15 people. And then they said indoor religious services attended by more than 25% of the venue's capacity. So they said they still have more things up there, but those are the big, I guess, hot points and stuff like that.
It feels weird, dude. It feels weird.
Well, you saw how everybody reacted to Lou Will going to the nightclub. Lou Will went to the strip club, said he was going to get some food. People went crazy about that. He's in a quarantine right now for 10 days. Actually, he's going to miss the opening 2 games.
Who's the dude that took the picture? That's the problem.
Apparently it was some rapper guy.
I know. That's what I mean. You can't be having your boy taking that picture there. I'm just saying. You can't be doing that.
But the thing is, this is the issue that you can potentially have to the NFL.
You would know if he tests positive though coming back to the bubble.
But no, this is the thing. In the NBA, you have that buffer, right? You have to come back and test at the bubble to get back in. In the NFL, as it stands today, once those 2 weeks are up and they start testing bi-weekly, you can run into that
with everything that we just talked about. With
that's still what's supposed to go on. Yeah. Okay. So that's the issue, because you're not going to. I mean, I'm not about to go down that list of guys that like to visit establishments and things like that and entertain themselves or import export with personnel in terms of friends and family. But either way, they don't have to answer, or like you said, don't take a picture. I don't have to tell the team that this is what I was doing because it's high risk, right? So I don't need to tell them, but
I know,
you run that risk.
Because honestly, though. I mean, you know how I am and things we've talked about over the past however many months. I don't like the whole I'm being watched or whatever with the NFL. That feels weird to me because it does feel like a government watching over you. So at the same time, I mean. You just gotta be low key, man.
You would be heated if one of these practice squad guys, he's going out doing his thing in a local establishment in the Pittsburgh area, and he comes back and somehow, some way, 7 gets it, and it causes us big games. You would be heated about that.
I would be heated, but at the same time, I think there needs to be something. Just test the person before they get in the facility.
Yeah, but according to what they're trying to do, they said that as this thing progresses, they're not going to be testing as much. Just going off what they said, man.
I know, dude. I know. It's it's whatever, man. Yeah. Let's just get this NFL back. Dude. That's
man.
all.
I just hope that this thing works, and it makes me a little leery too sometimes when I listen to Goodell. How he keeps changing the words in which he's like, first it's like we're gonna play a full season. He's like, we're gonna just complete a season. I'm like, all right. Then he's comparing it to, I think it was the 82 or 83 season where they played. It was supposed to be a full season, but it ended up getting cut short. I'm like, all right, now you're making me a little nervous with all these things and how you talking about it. But it's real life right now, man. It's what we got to deal with. But either way, man, we're going to be excited following it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping it's back. That's all, dude.
We shall see.
We'll stay excited. That's fine because there's a build up here. It's coming close. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Dude.
I mean, the first major thing is they got an agreement in place, so now the players can at least report to camp this week. That's huge. That was the first, I guess, big step. Now,
and I guess, dude, we still have another. What is it? A little more than a month and a half before the season actually starts.
What's first game's
second week of September?
No, the Thursday night game to open up the year.
When is it? It's first week in September? I thought it was second week.
We should pull that up and check.
Well, I mean, we at least got a month though. We at least got a month till that happens. So, I mean, worst case scenario, you can still. What I'm saying is you can still push the season back. It's not like the NFL was in the scenario like the NBA and the MLB and the NHL where mid-season or MLB season was starting right at that point. Where, it's not the worst case thing if we have to start in October.
The problem that has been this whole time is the NFL is very adamant that they will start on time.
Which I'm good with too.
That's the difference,
Hey, I'm good with that too. But I just, it's not.
I would feel a lot more comfortable if they pushed it back.
Well, it's not the worst thing. Like what I mean is like they could be experimenting with stuff this next like month and a half and see what works. Yeah. And if they get it, then start.
A month and a half. It ain't a month and a half, man.
It's like month and 2 weeks, month and a week.
That's not a lot.
Well, that's good. I mean,
that's not a lot of time. No,
what did I see? I saw someone posted 50 days, I think, on like an Instagram post. That they posted like Shazier in a 50 jersey, like 50 days away. So it might even be less than that. It might be in the 40s, but that's about a month and a half, right?
Nah.
Yeah, it is. Like,
50 days from when they made that post. It's not 50 days of camp. It's not 50 days of practice.
It might have been a couple days ago.
In fact, because they won't have their first padded practice until August 17th, which is crazy compared to what it is traditionally.
That's something we didn't talk about. Yeah, I mean, the first however many days are just going to be like, hey, I'm just hanging out here.
Quarantining, virtual meetings type stuff, So, and that threw me off because traditionally you report to camp on like a Thursday. You'll have practice Friday, Saturday, and just your shells, which are, just the jersey, shorts, no pads. And then typically that's Sundays when you'll be in pads, so you don't have a lot of time. Whereas this, like you said, August 17th is your first padded practice. So when you talk about from that August 17th date to whenever, whether it's September, the first week or the beginning of that second week, that's not a lot of time to get prepared.
No, well, in terms of a playing standpoint and preparing,
that's not a lot of time.
For me, it's enough time, but
we always different when it comes to that. We know this.
Honestly, no practice is enough time for me. As long as Seven's out there and all our starters are out there and we're playing some football in early September.
And if they playing bad though, then you're gonna be the one crying.
I don't think we will though. I think that benefits us. Okay. How can it not? Whenever we're talking about veteran teams and all that, I think that only benefits us.
How can no practice benefit you?
Compared to the other teams. If it's a level playing field where no one's getting practice.
Not at all. What?
All you got to do is come out with a win. It doesn't matter how pretty it looks.
Golly.
I think that would help us get wins.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you did. I ain't even about to go there either. We know how you think sometimes, man.
What happened?
When it comes to your Steelers, man, you think that, this guy is the one. And then
I'm just telling you, if it's an even playing field, I don't see how that really hurts us. Right. We got the most veteran team here.
All right, fair enough.
You're going to bring up Ben, dude. That's what it is. He's good, dude.
You said what?
You're going to bring up Ben just because he's been away from the game in a while.
I wasn't going to bring up. I'm confident in Ben. I'm worried about some of the other players that haven't been with
Juju.
Ben. No, I'm not even going to see you about the name.
We got some starters. Like we got enough connection there. We'll be good.
I hear you. We said the same thing last year. All right.
Ebron. Is it Ebron you're worried about?
Hey, listen, man. You can go down the list. All I'm saying is it's not as simple as you making it sound. Because if it was, we would have won a championship last year or the year before that.
It wouldn't be simple. But all I'm saying is it would be a level playing field, and it would help. Right. It would benefit us more than other teams. That's all.
That's because you're in Pittsburgh. If you were not in Pittsburgh, you would not be saying that, bro.
What do you mean?
If it benefits the Steelers more to not have practice this offseason.
It's only compared to the other teams. Like the Seahawks. But listen, Seahawks are good.
So Baltimore, that benefits them way more than it benefits us. It benefits the Titans more than it benefits us.
No.
Yeah, because they played a lot longer going into last season. So they are already going to be sharp. They are already fresh, more fresh and things like that. Whereas
you could say
we plugging and playing over here trying to figure stuff out.
You could say a 10 to 15 teams in the league. It probably benefits. And then if you want to break it down, who does it benefit more? I mean, we're in the mix. We're up there.
That doesn't help us win a championship. That's what I'm saying. Our best chance of winning a championship is to be as prepared as possible.
14 teams make it now. So all you got to be is in that top 15.
Yeah, top 15 don't win you a Super Bowl, though.
Huh? Hey, man, we've seen 6 seeds make it and win it. We did it. Packers did it against us.
Okay.
We've seen it happen, dude. Just get on a hot streak. Just make the dance, dude. Just make the dance.
It sounds so simple.
Just make the dance.
So why hasn't it happened more than that one time?
Huh? No, it is tough, dude. But just make the dance and you got a chance. That's all. Make the dance and you got a chance.
Except
I like
if
that.
you're the Titans, right? That doesn't count for them.
No, they're done. Dude. I'm telling you right now, they're not winning. I'm telling you.
Right, man,
I don't care what they do.
Okay.
I don't care what they do.
Right, cool.
Them and unfortunately, I know Bills. I mean, they got your heart a little bit. But I'm
not tripping because Josh Allen is a top 100 player in the NFL.
Yes. Wait, I know they put him up there.
Yeah.
What my buddy was complaining about something. Oh, they had Kyler Murray under him.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's at 90.
He was complaining about that, and I was like, they're in the same realm. I do like I was saying earlier. I do think Kyler Murray's gonna have a pretty big year this year.
It's gonna be interesting to see who else makes it from the quarterback position. In the AFC.
I don't want to hear it, dude. Just because. I mean, we're gonna talk about it. We already mentioned that that's gonna be our next podcast. But I didn't know all this, that there's only going to be 3 Steelers.
Yeah, man.
And
Cam is already up there, baby.
Okay. We'll see. I'll save some stuff for later.
Because I've seen guys that have missed the whole season because of injury make the list. So, I mean, we saw J.J. Watt. That's happened to him before. I'm just throwing it out there. Just for, another day, though. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. We got time, man.
People are biased, dude.
People are biased.
People don't know the game.
You're right. People are super biased. Hey, man, I'm 100% with you, baby. Speaking of games, though, we finally got the Madden ratings, man. They finally have come out.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man.
What are you excited about? They screwed us. Like, I tried to play.
They screwed us.
I told you. I got into PS4 again, like January, February last year. Or this year, I guess, 2020. Hadn't played PS4 in, probably 4 or 5 years. But for whatever reason, I had the whole idea. Yeah. Like, why don't I get, like, Madden? And, you never know what market or what we could use it for. And we ended up doing the CMO. Which
was dope.
It was. But
who ended up winning it all? Did you?
No, I still haven't finished. We lost.
Why did you stop that, man?
We lost first round of the playoffs, and I was done, dude.
Who'd they lose to anyways?
I think it was the Bills, dude.
I was just wondering. Just curiosity.
That's what I told you about Madden, dude. Anyone that watched the CML, anyone that was watching, they screwed us in that too. With like, because there's one thing for ratings, like they gave Ben a good rating, but there's something about like tendencies, and I don't know what it is. They screwed Ben in terms of the.
It was a quarterback controversy though at one point during the season and everything, man.
There was, it was an up and down season, dude. We had a stretch where it was like 4 or 5 games where we looked like the best team.
Yeah, very true, man.
But then, there was just some duds in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I tried playing Madden even before that, just like online games and stuff, and they screwed the Steelers rankings on that, and it's just not fun sometimes going up against these stacked teams, people going with the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Seahawks. I'm trying to be the Steelers, and they just really screwed our rankings. And I would get some wins. I would grit it out sometimes because our defense was pretty decent. But man, now they did it again to us this year, and it's just concerning. It's just disappointing.
I guess which ranking bothered you the most?
I mean, all of them did, but you know which one did. An 81 at quarterback, that's just ridiculous. It's just absurd. They screwed them last year. We talked about this. They gave him an 85 last year, but then even on Madden, like I said, whenever I was playing back in January, February, they would let me put Ben in even though he was hurt. Correct. They bumped his rating down, I guess, due to the injury or something, like an 81 or 82.
It's mandatory, yes. Yeah,
mandatory.
Because like I had the similar situation where this is actually my last year when I was in Arizona.
They let me play Shazier though, linebacker.
So did they have his rating the same?
He was around an 80 something.
Because for me, once I had hurt my knee and I got put on IR, when the game came out after the fact, my rating, like I could play in the game, but my rating was trash because it had me with the knee injury.
This is on the Cardinals?
Yeah, it had me with the knee injury. So even when I would like try to put myself in, I'm still in, but like it has
You're
like
trying to play online.
No, I was trying to just play like I download the online rosters though, like download the updated rosters.
That's what you got to go soup them up.
Why I ain't want to cheat? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I took pride in the fact usually I was good enough that I ain't need to update my roster. I ain't need to update myself, but it has like the injury seal, and I'm just like, bro, I'm trash. I ain't even want to play the game no more. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, you're in a bad spot in your career in terms of Madden, where if you're a rookie, at least you could play seasons out, and then you're getting progression and stuff. But
mine, I was like, dude, it's over. It's done. So I don't even play last year. I played like from 2 years ago. Like, yeah.
But dude, it's just ridiculous. I mean, we both agree. I don't know if you agree with me.
For me, man, I mean, when I saw Ncaa at an 87, then TJ at an 86, I said, what is going on, bro?
The whole rating system is just absurd, man.
I mean, no offense to Tuitt. They got Tuitt at 87, ranked higher than both of those. I'm like, Tuitt didn't even play a whole season.
I know.
Whereas when we saw the impact of Ncaa and TJ, but that's what made me think about Ben. I'm like, dang.
It doesn't make sense because they did give Tuitt a high rank.
Absolutely. And I said, let's be real, player to player, productivity to productivity, Tuitt isn't on the same level of Ben, healthy or hurt. So I didn't understand how Tuitt has such a higher rating than a Ben.
All right. Can I just bring up some of these quarterbacks?
Oh, yeah. Here we go, man. Let me hear it.
Dude, they got Rivers, which is a joke. Cousins, joke. Stafford, joke. Jimmy G, joke.
Who are these guys? Are they higher?
Yeah, these are all higher. They got them. They got them a rating or two higher. Dak, joke. Carson Wentz, joke. Deshaun Watson, it's still Ben over these guys, but like at least I respect these guys as quarterbacks for the most part. Deshaun Watson, Matt Ryan, and then you got Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Breeze. This is where Ben should be, but it's not. It's just not. I understand it's not going to happen just because.
I mean, shoot, Gronk, they had him at a 95. He took a whole year off.
Yeah,
he was in retirement mode.
Yeah, which I'm not even like that against because I'm high on Gronk too.
No, I get that, but for me, I'm like. Dude, what's the logic behind Ben being so low compared to these guys?
Dude, it's just people are haters, man. I don't know what to tell you. So I can scream and cry all I want. I'm not really surprised just because they gave him an 85 last year coming off of one of his historic seasons. It was, dude. Come on. You have no. I know you've ripped on it, but you've also spoken highly of it.
I was about to say he did, but you said historic. I don't like.
Historic for him. Yeah, it was one of his best seasons.
Well, this is the thing you always throw me off when you say that's one of his best seasons. Then that was also the season where he had with the 16 interceptions and led the league in that. Dude, but then I see you point to other seasons where the numbers aren't as gaudy and you're like, this is his best year actually.
Oh yeah, the one.
So that's what always throws me off.
The one where
I'm
he
like,
had 16 picks and like 21 touchdowns. He was leading.
You say that's like his best season.
It might be. You got to watch those games. Dude.
No,
he was dominant. You were there, dude.
I'm with you. I'm just simply saying like, so for me, I never know what's considered like Ben's best season, because for me, I thought last year, I mean, not the when he got hurt, the year before that was, I thought it was his best season. It looked great.
Well, you have the one where it was, it was after the motorcycle accident. Mm-hmm. It was after that season because we won the Super Bowl XL, motorcycle accident, we go 8-8. It was a rough season, but Ben still showed flashes throughout that. He had a couple of games with perfect quarterback rating. It was just rough from the start with the whole motorcycle thing. Anyway, next season after that, I mean, that's up there. I mean, that was the year that Brady threw for the 50 touchdowns. But I mean, it's arguable Ben was the second best quarterback in the league there.
All right, man, I'm with you, bro.
I'm just telling you. I mean, he has some seasons we could point to.
All right. You're just that's what just throws up. I'm like, I don't know what's considered like. Do we go off of just the numbers, or is it this, or is it that?
I'm not surprised. I mean, we can move on from this just because it's just really disrespectful. Anyone with eyes, anyone that knows football, 81 for Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty low, man. I thought that was low, especially when I've seen other guys that were either injured or away from the game come back and their rating was barely affected. I just didn't understand the logic behind that. But, You
want to go to the Ncaa and TJ thing?
Yeah, man, go to that, man. Let's do it.
Well, with TJ being an 86, you look at the other guys that are ahead of him. Like you have Chandler Jones, I think, at a 95. I'm trying to pull this thing up right now. I'm on the filter on the iPhone here with the Madden ratings. He's got him at right outside linebacker. Am I wrong on that? No, that's Bud. Well, they have Bud low. They have Bud at an 80.
Yeah.
Which is low too. But the weird thing about the right outside linebacker is they have everyone low on right outside linebacker because their top guy, the highest guy is Demario Davis at an 89. Their second guy, Shaquille Barrett at an 85 after the season he had last year.
I mean, so what? I'm trying to think.
So like you should be bumping up everyone at least 5 there. I mean, I don't know about Demario Davis. I don't know how good he is. But dude,
but this is the thing though. Demario Davis is a 4-3 interior linebacker. So he's not even like your traditional like edge rusher.
Yeah, I don't know what their base. I don't know how Shaquille Barrett's an 85. And same with TJ being an 86. It's just kind of ridiculous.
But no, see, this is the thing though. TJ's listed as a left outside linebacker up here at 86 compared to Chandler Jones is at 95.
Doesn't make sense.
But then you got Shaq Barrett at 85. But
dude, it doesn't add up. Like if you want to put Chandler Jones's overall a little bit better than TJ.
I don't mind it being
whatever.
a 95.
But still, like I think TJ should be a 95 with Jones. Worst case, 94, whatever.
Yeah, well, I said worst case, you could have TJ at 92, depending on, and I still think that would be low, but that's worst case. But to be at 86, that's crazy.
And let's be straight up. I know we've talked about Khalil Mack and Von Miller in terms of their seasons coming up and what their production was last year. Did they deserve Pro Bowls, whatever. I'm fine with them being at that 97, but let's be straight up. Whenever you compare it to TJ, dude, TJ's just had a way better season than both of them last year.
Monster season, yeah.
If you want to combine both seasons, it's probably comparable. I can't remember what their season was the year prior, but I think they did really good. I think they were making all pros and stuff and double-digit sacks, but still, TJ also had double-digit sacks back-to-back years.
The thing that gets me, these two things right here. So Chandler Jones' strength is 87. TJ is 77. Chandler Jones' awareness is 97. TJ's is 89. I'm just like, where would you come with this? TJ drops into coverage. He does it all, man. Chandler Jones tackling is at 92 versus TJ at 82. Like, what?
It just doesn't add up, dude. It just really doesn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, TJ Watt, we obviously both think should be higher. And then Minka's that one's just absurd, too. Whenever you have, I was looking this up. They have the highest safety. What is he? Free safety or strong safety?
Free safety, yeah.
All right, free safety. The highest free safety was Devin McCourty at a 92. Which, all right, whatever, man. Like I was looking up,
whatever, man. That's trash.
No,
bro.
but no. Here's the thing. I was looking up his stats. Yeah, he had 5 picks last year. He had a solid season. But whenever you compare him to Ncaa was All Pro, Pro Bowler, and Devin McCourty doesn't have any of that. So if we're considering all this stuff into play, I think Ncaa was the 7th or 8th safety ranked on Madden here. Yeah. Dude, if you're doing the whole all-pro thing, that means you're a top 2 or 3 safety in the league. Position,
yeah.
So you at least got to be in that 92 range because, one, I'm putting him over Devin McCourty.
Yeah.
Just because
without a doubt.
He did make the all-pro, and he had the same amount of picks, but then he also, in my opinion, had more impact plays where it was completely switching the game for the Steelers. I wasn't watching all the Patriot games, but if anyone was doing that on their defense, it was Stephon Gilmore. It wasn't Devin McCourty. So, dude, it just, I don't know, man.
Well, when I looked at the safety ratings, I look at Ncaa at 87, Earl Thomas at 88, and then Jamal Adams at 92. I just don't understand how Minka's behind Earl outside of just name recognition. I think that's the only thing that stands out to me like that.
Yeah, he's past his prime. He's still a good player, but he's past his prime. Minka's about to hit his prime here.
Yeah.
And, dude, there's arguments that he's the best safety in the league right now. I mean, one of the top 3.
Yeah, you could definitely make that argument, man.
I mean, I'm gonna say it, but because I'm biased, and I'll be behind my Steelers. But still, I mean, him, Jamal Adams, and some of these other dudes.
For me, there is only Derwin James, bro.
I know you're high on him, man. You're really high on him.
Absolutely. But you haven't watched him like that because last year.
No, I haven't. I haven't. I mean, he was he was playing in that game that we ended up blowing against the Chargers in 2018.
That was his
right?
rookie year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I remember of him. But I mean, Ben, we still, our offense was still rolling pretty good. I forget what happened. Like, we got screwed with some calls from.
Oh yeah, you got the false start that they didn't call.
There was something happened on a punt too. Was that it? Was it on a punt with the false start?
No, the false start was a touchdown pass from Phil. Like Phillip Rivers threw a touchdown pass, but the tackle was early. Yeah, it was like blatant. Yeah.
What can you do, man? That was that was another thing going back to that 2018 season. I told you we had a really good team. We got screwed by the refs there in the Saints game. Boz missing field goals.
Boz missing field goals. That's a part of the game. Fumbling, that's a part of the game. That's not screwed. But I'm just talking. That's a team sport.
I'm just talking about how good that team was, and we just didn't get it that year. It's unfortunate.
I hear you. But yeah, man.
Was there anyone? Was there anyone else like Steelers or outside of Steelers? They have Juju 86. They always have him a little high.
He is at 86. You all right?
Well, he was an X Factor last year. They're probably going to keep him an X Factor this year. He was one of those dudes you put in the slot and you just run some button hooks and little drags across the middle. He was catching kind of everything.
Yeah.
So
he is at 86. Jeez. So they have him.
I thought Lamar was going to be higher for being the Madden cover guy.
I did too. Yeah, he's like with a 99. It was like, whoa.
I thought at least like a 96, 97.
Yeah.
You know, he'd have like 99 speed or whatever like that. I don't even think his speed's that high. It is 99 though, right? What is it? Are you up on it?
I'm pulling it up right now. Give me a second.
All right, hold on. Yeah, same. This
It's
Madden,
like filter thing.
It's
It takes
not bad.
forever,
It's
bro.
not 96 speed. That's
Okay.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's appropriate, I'd say.
So that's appropriate.
I mean, I'd bump him up a little bit, but
Bud at 80, James Conner at 81,
yeah, what can you do about that? I'm
Devin Bush at 76,
Yeah, that's
Deontay at 76. Whoa.
Yeah, well, it's weird, man, because they got some of these dudes. They got some of the rookies, like they got Joe Burrow at a 76.
Mhm.
He hasn't even played in the league yet, and then you have dudes like Daniel Jones under him, and we've talked about that before. Where I don't know how you can say Joe Burrow is better than Daniel Jones right now. He hasn't played a snap in the league, and Jones, he has a good stat line, and you could tell he's got some potential.
Nah, you could just watch his game. Like he's gonna be fine. Steven Nelson at 81. Where's Jumpman Joe?
Joe Hayden.
at
They got
83.
Joe Hayden really low too. They
Yeah.
have him as like.
They had a lot of the corners low though for some reason though.
Well, Joe, they have him. I think you correct me if I'm wrong. He's in the top. It's like 23 or 24, which it goes back to the whole Ncaa argument. Even like T.J. Watt, dude. If you're making a Pro Bowl last year, even though it was based off honorable mention, that still means you're a top 10 cornerback in the league. Mm-hmm. Why aren't you ranked top 10 in this whole thing? Like, why aren't you an 87 or 88 at least? I just don't understand that.
Well, I look at this too, man. So we know the type of year Marlon Humphrey had last year.
Oh, they had him. They've Peters really low too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I look at Darius Slay at 88. None of the corners outside of Gilmore were rated really high. That was very, very surprising to me, man.
I can't believe Peters is at an 85, to be honest with you.
Can't.
An 85, Marcus Peters?
You think higher or lower?
Oh, yeah, lower.
Lower?
No,
What?
No, higher. I'm sorry.
I was like, what do you mean? He's first team All-Pro.
It's too low.
It's
That's
too
what I
low,
mean.
super low. Yeah.
Like, I think he should be a 90.
Absolutely. I think him and Marlon Humphrey should be 90s. Like, whether it's 91, 92, absolutely.
That's what I mean. I'm not trying to be biased here because I'm just calling it like I see it. I think those dudes should be higher. And honestly, I mean, I was telling my boy this, that even Josh Allen might be a little low. Josh Allen and Kyler Murray, maybe you got to have them a couple.
Say that again?
Maybe you got to bump them a couple points higher. Just because, like I said, if you're going to have Joe Burrow to 76.
Look at that.
I'm just trying to be straight up. I'm trying to be straight up.
Look at you trying to get Bills Mafia, man. I see you, man.
Like, he could just deserve a couple points better than Madden. That's all. He's still not an elite quarterback. That's all.
Dang. All right. I like this. I like this new Deke.
Now, I'm just being fair, dude. I'm just being fair. But if you're trying to tell me he's the next best thing, I'm just not buying it yet.
Man, maybe he's like a younger version of Ben.
No, dude.
What?
My boy was trying to tell me that too. I'm just not hearing it.
They're both big.
I'm not hearing it.
Both got a cannon.
No, he doesn't.
Super
he doesn't
tough.
have the arm talent like Ben.
He has a stronger arm than Ben.
He has a good arm. He doesn't have that touch. Ben's just got that touch.
I'm just saying. Hey, you said you don't have the arm talent. He got the power.
Well, that's what I mean. Arm talent. It's taking all those things in consideration.
No, I'm saying.
And he
has a stronger arm. Ben has more accuracy. It just, it depends on what you're
Accuracy,
looking
touch, all that.
Accuracy and touch are the same thing, man.
No,
they
dude.
both go in the same category. What are we talking about here?
No. There's levels. There's
It's
levels.
accuracy and touch.
There is.
It's accuracy. Is he getting the ball to the guy? Is it going to be a completion? Period.
There's intermediate passes, short passes. There's a lot of things. Trajectory. There's a lot of things you got to consider with the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else? There was one or two more that I had.
Who'd you have, man? I want you to get it off your chest, man.
Dude, I think Odell Beckham's a little low.
Ooh.
I think hold on. Do I have it? I got it on my email here. I think Odell Beckham's a little low. I think Zeke is low.
Yes.
I think Saquon Barkley's low.
What'd you feel about L. Bell, man?
What was his? His was like an 87 or 88.
Yeah, he was pretty low.
Yeah, he was low too. I think he should be like, but I get that. I think he's a better running back than what Madden's going to rate him, and they're probably rating him a lot based off of last season because it was a poor statistical season. But
I guess the thing that
the
gets
Jets
me,
were a poor team and shitty team for Bo.
But the thing that gets me is there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason with that because we talked about how in so Elbow got an 87 rating, definitely was low, but even with that, I think of a guy like Patrick Peterson, he still was at an 88. And we talked about, first off, he missed a large chunk of the season. He definitely didn't perform up to his standard and what we all expect from Patrick Peterson. But he's still, like I said, at 88 after that season. I'm like, dang, this is crazy, man.
Well, actually, I'm going to say another thing about the Bills here. Tre'Davious White is low, actually.
Yes.
He's low. He's at a 90. Dude, we were talking about him not at the end of the season, but towards the last couple weeks of last season. Is he better than Stephon Gilmore? Should he be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation? And to have him at a 90 and then Gilmore at a 99, at least after Davis White at like a 92, 93.
It needs to be a lot closer than that.
I'm just, like I said, dude, I'm just calling it like I see it, dude.
Look at Deke,
I'm trying to be straight up.
Next you be coming here wearing blue and red, boy. All right.
Hell no, dude. But no, all right, so here's who they have Odell Beckham worse than.
Mm-hmm.
They have him at a 91. They have Stephon Diggs at a 92. Give me a break there.
Give me a...
Amari Cooper at a 93. Again, give me a break.
Whoa.
Over Odell Beckham? No
Based
way.
off of last year, yes
No
way.
way,
Based off of last year, yes way. Yes.
We know the player Odell is. That was a rough scenario.
What you mean? Amari had the worst coaching staff?
We put Odell with the Cowboys, and how many times Dak was chucking it up like that.
Whoa, wait a minute now. You said you would take Baker over Dak, though.
No, come on. Now you're, no.
You did.
I said Dak.
You said you would take Baker over Dak. You said that.
If I was getting Baker for $10 million a year.
You said that you would take Baker over Dak, bro. That's what you told me.
Not true.
So Baker's the better quarterback in your eyes.
Not true. I think Dak is the better quarterback, but if I were to get Baker for $10 million a year versus Dak at $40 million, I'm easily taking Baker and saving $30 million.
So you're getting Baker at 35, Dak at 40. You go with Baker, right?
Baker, no, not like that, dude.
There has to be a drastic difference.
Yeah, because you're trying to find the outliers. You're trying to be smart about how you use your money. That's all. And I don't think the difference between Dak and Baker is that drastic. At least.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that Baker is good then? Baker's better.
Based off last season, yeah, you can make that argument. I think Baker's going to bounce back. We were talking about this. I think he's going to bounce back.
So then you can't really give me the excuse that Odell didn't have a good quarterback.
Freddie pitches, dude. It's just a mess up there.
And it wasn't a mess in Dallas?
He's still got over 1,000. No, I'm talking in terms of stats, though. I mean, Dak Prescott threw for over 4,900 yards. That should be a wide receiver's dream.
Because he did it in spite of coaching. He did it in spite of all these things, man.
He still threw for 4,900 yards.
He had to be gritty. You know what I mean?
No. He still threw for 4,900 yards.
And they were run first offense, man, because Zeke is the feature.
What I mean is Cooper should have had more yards, dude.
No, man. He had to share.
We know Beckham's better than Cooper.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Come on, dude.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, so those are the two, because you got Mike Evans at a 92, Devontae Adams at a 94 above him too. Keenan Allen's at a 91, although they have him like ranked higher. So I put Odell over Keenan Allen for sure. And then now with Devontae and Mike Evans, I think that's a wash. I just think he should be in that 94 range.
Fair
93,
enough.
94. Maybe even bump Mike Evans up one from a 92 to a 93, 94.
Okay.
And then Saquon, like I said, he's at a 91. Dude, come on.
That's way too low for Saquon.
Bump him up some ratings.
Time out. This thing got me. Saquon at 91, but you got Christian McCaffrey at 99. You're not going to tell me it's that big of a difference between those two dudes right there, man.
It is from a fantasy standpoint.
Yeah, but this ain't fantasy football. This is Madden.
I know, but
this is not fantasy football, man.
Dude, McCaffrey putting up that 1,000 season.
I don't care about fantasy football, man. We talking in real life, eyeball test, productivity. You tell me that McCaffrey is that much better than Saquon.
I know. Bump up Saquon to like 94, 95.
At worst.
And bump up Zeke Elliott to a 94, 95 as well.
Yes, I agree.
If you got, we're not doing running back rankings here, but I definitely got those two over Derrick Henry for sure.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Saquon,
they're more complete.
Saquon and Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, they're more complete.
So yeah, that's kind of.
In fact, man, we might have to do a running back rating, man. We haven't touched them yet.
No, we didn't. We did it last year. We did our like top 5 quarterbacks, top 5 running backs.
We need to go down. And the thing is, we got a list to compare off of because Jeremy Fowler, who now is doing like the NFL just as a whole instead of just being a Steelers ESPN analyst. He's put out lists in terms of the top 5 or top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 running backs, top 10 receivers, outside linebackers, inside linebackers, D linemen, offensive linemen. So yeah, we can go down that list, man.
It's up to you, dude. I know
I'm down.
They were a big hit last year.
You know I'm down, baby. But and I always love to be able to go back and forth with you about some of these players and where they should be and stuff like that and hear the logic behind it, man. So that's always a good time, man.
I'm good with it, dude.
Yeah.
So is that it, man?
I think so, man. I guess no shout out to Madden. Is that what you're saying? But you got to shout out Madden, man. Madden hooked us up. Remember at the tailgate? Well, granted, yeah, we can't probably do that again right now because of COVID, huh?
I guess not, man.
Yeah, but shout out to Madden for the game to help us do that, but not shout out to Madden because the ratings. Yeah,
it is what I'm more of a 2K guy now. Anyway, I'm playing way more 2K than Madden. I don't even know if I'm gonna get the new Madden. To be honest with you, I'll get the new 2K. I'll probably get one of these new systems. I'll definitely get the PS5.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm more into 2K. It's weird, dude.
Any new games you playing thus far?
Nah, just 2K.
Okay, all right, just checking, man.
Just 2K. My team's.
I like it.
I'm just building my team, dude. Like it's crazy because they have. I know they do it with Madden, but
yeah,
they have players that are. You're not thinking are the most amazing players. You know, young players, just players that have been decent throughout their career.
Right.
I mean, they load some of these cards up with stats and make them like 99 overall.
Okay.
Like. I got Cam Reddish as my shooting guard, and he's like probably one of the best 3 shooting guards in the game.
What?
Yeah, Cam Reddish.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I haven't played a sport game in a minute. Right now, I'm on was it the Ghost of Shima?
What is it?
It's a samurai game, bro. It just dropped, man. This is awesome. Best graphics I've ever seen on a video game. Not even close. Heck,
Are you getting one of the new ones?
I probably will. Yeah.
Which one?
I don't know because I have both right now, so you know how I feel, man.
You're gonna get both.
It's a strong possibility. I'm just throwing it out there, man. I don't like to pick and choose, so sometimes to avoid
apparently
the conflict,
they're getting rid of exclusives for one of the systems, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing. So some people are like, I'm just going with one because Xbox doesn't have exclusive. I think that's it. I think that's how it is.
It don't bother me either way, man.
I'm doubling down.
I like games.
I know.
Yeah, and I got like games I like to play on certain systems. You know what I mean? Like I still play my GTA, but I do that on Xbox. You know what I mean? But then I like my Call of Duty on PS4.
Yeah.
I like Red Dead on PS4. You know what I mean? So it just depends, man. It just depends.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's it though.
Yeah, man. So it was fun, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in.
Until next time.
Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. This next guest, I mean, he is a legend when it comes to basketball, especially in the coaching ranks. In 1998, he won the NCAA Championship with the Kentucky Wildcats. He's been named the National Coach of the Year 3 times, 6-time Conference Coach of the Year, where he's won it 3 times in the SEC and once in the Big 12. 5-time SEC Tournament champion, 18 NCAA Tournament appearances, 9 Sweet 16s, 3 Elite 8s. Oh, he's also an Olympic gold medalist with the 2000 men's basketball team. And he's in the University of Kentucky Athletic Hall of Fame, along with the High Point University Hall of Fame. And he's currently the head coach for the High Point University basketball team. So without further ado, the legend himself, Coach Tubby Smith.
Well, man, I don't know who is that guy you just introduced? Hey, can you guys send that to my wife?
Look, man, I gotta let everybody know, man. Coach Tubby Smith plays no games, man. He's a beast, baby. He's been dominant for so long, and it's only right that you get your flowers when you can smell them, baby.
Well, I'm like a little puppy when I go home now. My wife doesn't care nothing about that. and my relatives either. They don't, and I got a bunch of them.
That's funny, man. So talk to me a little bit, man. We know that obviously with the pandemic, this hasn't been your traditional off season, but I believe what you said, your guys have finally come back and you're able to have start having workouts. So just how's your team been maneuvering through everything right now? Well,
it's like everyone else. It's very, how can I say, psychologically. It's really, I'm sure it's taking a toll on a lot of young people and old people, especially people of my age and I'm African American, black, so I'm 69 years old, so I'm in that category where I've got to be very careful. I don't have any pre-existing conditions, although I did have prostate cancer and overcame that years ago. But what I'm saying is that the ask about the young people, they. You've got to let them know that this is for real. This coronavirus is for real. You have to practice social distancing. You have to be disciplined, wearing your mask. So they're back here on campus, and we're just starting. They were here for just the last 2 or 3 weeks. We were, usually have 2 sessions of summer school, but we only have 1 session this year because of this pandemic. And we were actually supposed to be preparing to go to Canada on a foreign tour. And so we were going to bring them back just the last session anyway, which started on July 6th. And we're finishing up this week, so it'll be their last week. Friday will be our last day. And we just walked out of individual workouts with our players. You can only have 4 guys in the gym. Coaches have to wear a mask. We wear gloves, plastic gloves. Then we have it's 1 kid at 1 basket. And so the only ball can be touched by that coach. It's really
wow.
And so the kids we take their temperature when they come in the building. So there are a lot, and we've only had a few. I think we had about 200 students on campus. That was the most we've had on campus this summer at one time. But I'm interested to see how it's going to work when they get back here in August the 17th is when they return. So they'll leave on Friday, and then they'll be back here on August 17th. That kind of gives you an idea of our calendar for as we get ready.
Well,
but it's been. But our guys have responded well. They were so anxious to get back and be back with their teammates and work out again because they're home. A lot of them in different. Well, most of our players are from North Carolina or from. We don't have any. We have a kid from Connecticut, but we have a kid from Florida. So they're good. They're good now. They're happy now.
I like that. Now, I didn't even think about the fact that you are considered in the high risk category. So your thought process with all of that, were you nervous the first time coming back around the players?
Absolutely. I've been, but I've been practicing, we've had a lot of practice setting, over the last 4 months, we lost on, March. We played in the very first, out in the Big South, which we're in. It was won by Winthrop, and then the teams that would have represented us would have been Winthrop and Radford from the Big South. I'm sorry, it's the Big South. And we finished up we lost on the 4th or 5th of March, and the 5th, and in the first round. So our players were on spring break, and I was concerned. So we. As I said, we've been practicing this social distancing and using a mask since, and we were actually, Syracuse was actually working out in our gym because the ACC tournament was being played in Greensboro, which is only about 20 minutes away.
I forgot all about that.
And in fact, North Carolina was supposed to play. The game was supposed to start, and they called the tournaments off that very week, which was the week of the 9th of March. So.
Crazy times, man. But definitely glad to hear that you're healthy, though. So the next thing that I wanted to know was, as decorated as you are, we talked about what you've been able to accomplish collegiately, obviously as an Olympic gold medalist as well. How do you stay motivated at this stage of your career?
I love the game. You've got to have a passion. If you're going to be successful in anything, you've got to have, and I learned early on, growing up in an environment with 16 other siblings. I had 4 brothers and 12 sisters. And my dad was ex-World War II.
So where were you at in the 16?
I'm the 6th oldest, so there's 11 under me. Can you believe that?
You got priority then. I like it.
Oh yeah. You better believe it. So my oldest brother, he's 10 years older than I am. Then it was 4 girls between my older brother and me, so I was the next boy. And we grew up on a farm in southern Maryland. And near the Chesapeake Bay, the Patuxent River and Potomac River. So someone was saying, I go play at this golf at this country club, and there's a lake there, and they want me to build. And I said, well, fellows, I know what you mean. I love this lake. It's beautiful looking out over it, but water to me was work. It wasn't leisure or recreation. Right. We either fished, or we were crabbing, or we were oystering. People made a living on the water. So, I don't have much to do with the water because it's even within farms. I grew up milking cows and killing hogs and feeding chickens, cutting wood, hauling water. So you asked me that question.
It teaches you work ethic without a doubt.
Oh, well, you asked me. It's all about that. It's about longevity. And so, and I talk. And that's what my dad said, son, you don't have to do anything special. Just finish your job. He said, if you just last, you will achieve more than, and very few people will finish. And that's what his whole thing. Just finish. Just be the last man standing. And guess what? Good things will happen.
Absolutely.
And he's so right. And so I'm 47 years, starting my 47 years. I've never been without a job. I've been so blessed.
That's big time. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, speaking of,
a lot of people talk about it. John Wooden, legendary coach, was longevity. His whole thing was was balance in your life. And I've tried to do that, not get too high when we win and not get too low when we lose. My dad used to call it moderation.
Okay.
Moderation. He said, son, practice moderation. He said, I'll tell you not to smoke, but you're probably going to try it, but don't make it a habit. It's tobacco, you didn't have marijuana back, but tobacco and all. He said, it'll ruin you, son. And he said, if you drink, don't be careful because you can become an alcoholic easily. He said, so just anything you do, don't go to the extremes and you'll be fine. It was, we had chores to do on the farm, and he would assign you a job, and he would say, Tubby, I want you make sure that, you've got all these these weeds to pull out the garden. And you've got your team, your team, which is your sibling, your brothers and sisters. You make sure. So I learned how to make them do some things and help me get the job done.
Yeah.
So coaching was always in my blood.
All right, I could definitely respect that. Now, when you talk about finishing, you talk about being the last man standing, and a lot of times like that, and also just being not getting too high, not getting too low. During that 1998 season when you won the NCAA championship, just talk about what that was like for you.
Well, I guess you'd have to. I think people don't realize I had been an assistant coach at Kentucky previously when we were on probation from 89 and 91. And we had followed Eddie Sutton. There just was a special on TV about Eddie Sutton. What a great coach, great man.
Legend.
And he was a legend. And, he was in the Hall of Fame. But they had some issues there, and we came in. So I had an understanding and appreciation for Kentucky basketball, the bluegrass. It was a way of life for those folks in Kentucky. It is, and they love it's a passion because they had at that time in '98. Other than no one else had won more championships than Kentucky, other than UCLA. So. And a guy like Adolph Rupp, who had won 4 national championships, and then we when I came in, we came in 97, 98 after being at Georgia. But that was by the time I got back to Kentucky in 98, I'd been a high school coach at 2 different places. I'd been an assistant coach at 3 different places. I'd been a head coach at Tulsa and at Georgia. So I had already moved my family 7 times. You see me? That was my 7th move.
Jeez.
So right, being back here, this is my 13th move. Or 14th. So what I'm saying is that, that coming back to Kentucky and winning it in 98 was special. And they still only have 8 championships. I said only, but we have one of them. You know what I mean? A lot of people ask me, said, well, Adolph Rupp had 4 and everybody else has 1. From, Joe B. Hall had 1. Rick Pitino had 1.
Was it Calipari?
I had 1, and Calipari has 1. So I'm in some high cotton, boys.
Oh, no question.
Now, you were talking about just coaching.
But it was a special day. The group, what's so special about championships are the relationships, because I still stay in touch with Jeff Shepard, who was MVP in that 98 Final Four championship. Scott Padgett, I still talk to him. Alan Edwards, all the players are on that team, whether it was Nazir Muhammad, Jamal McGlory, Scott Padgett, all those guys went on to play in the NBA. And so I'm really proud and really and honored that I had an opportunity to lead that program. But it's nothing like it. I can just tell you right now, it's not a hard job, but it's intense.
Well, yeah, you're talking about that right now, of it just Kentucky being a little bit different than any of your other coaching destinations. Can you elaborate on that? Like, what was it? Was it specifically the pressure from media, fans? Like, what was the good and the bad in coaching at Kentucky? What made it so different?
Well, I never looked at it as pressure, to be honest with you. And that's something that my dad grew up on a farm with 16 other siblings and not knowing how to, you had to You had to grow everything we pretty much ate. You had to, like my dad said, boy, if you don't feed that hog, we ain't eating. You don't weed that garden, you don't cultivate that garden, we ain't eating. If you don't do these, you don't feed those chickens, and we ain't eating.
Absolutely.
So he used to say to me, I said, Dad, man, you know what kind of pressure, boom? He said, son, don't you ever think what you're doing is pressure. And he said, I can tell you what pressure is, son. Trying to feed 17 hungry mouths. That's what pressure is. And he's right. So I always looked at it as, and I probably wasn't as intense or as, but what I'm saying is that that's the mindset in order to succeed that I felt I had to have, or it would have tore me to pieces. You know what I mean? Emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and pressure. I would have never made it 10 years, which I'm still the third longest tenure coach in the history of Kentucky basketball. So that's another story, but it's I don't know where I was going with that. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I mean, I think you bring up a lot of good points about perspective and being level-headed. Yeah.
Well, the perspective is that wherever you coach, whether it was at Great Mills High School, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Memphis, Kentucky, Georgia, as a coach, you and as an athlete, you're trying to give your best no matter what. You're giving your best effort no matter where you are. You're trying to make that a better program. You're trying to help your players reach their goals and their dreams. You're trying to make that community, that university, and you're trying to win. And you're doing it as best you can within the rules.
Absolutely.
So I felt like everywhere we've been able to do that successfully.
I like that, which is huge. Definitely. Now, talk a little bit about the NCAA tournament, man. Everybody talks about how there's nothing like it. But for you, man, what do you like most about the NCAA tournament? And then also, outside of winning the championship in '98, what's your most memorable moment in the NCAA tournament?
Well, my most memorable moment was sharing that championship with especially with my family, because I was coaching Saul, my middle son, played for me at Kentucky. And then I had Gigi, who's the associate head coach here at High Point now. I just coached him at Georgia. So I coached my oldest son for 2 years at Georgia, and I left, and my son Saul was actually supposed to be playing with his brother at Georgia. But C.M. Newton, the AD, called me, and I moved to Kentucky, and then my son Saul, who was part of that '98 championship team, and worked for me for a few years. He now lives in Milwaukee. But I remember the relationships. I mentioned some of the 4 players on that team, and the coaches, and the fans, and the administration. But sharing it with my family. By that I mean my wife was there, my mom was there, God rest her soul. My dad was still with me, but he didn't make that trip to San Antonio, Texas. And San Antonio is one of my favorite cities. But and so it was just, and then to be able to share with all the coaches that I've ever had in my life, from my 9th grade teacher, who was my math teacher, Cecil Short, in 1965, 66, who just passed away back in February, and I was at his memorial service. And I can name every teacher I've ever had, and they were the important people in my life. From my 1st grade teacher to my graduate school teacher. Those are the people that influenced me and had the biggest impact. Now the coaches obviously had a major impact. I was just my high school. Cecil Short coached me at the all-black school, George Washington Carver. Then we were in the schools where we bused Great Mills High School, the all-white school, and then I had Coach Gene Wood, who still comes through my games now from Southern Maryland. So it's, you understand, that's what it meant to me. When I stood up and they asked me to say a few words after we won the national championship, holding that trophy, all I could think about was my parents, the folks in Scotland, Maryland, Great Mills High School, George Washington Carver, High Point, North Carolina, where I went to college. That's what I said. I want to share with everyone that's influenced and had an impact on my life. It's for you, and that's who it was for.
I like that. Now, was there anything in particular that stands out to you about the NCAA tournament, though, that, man, this is what I like the most about the tournament itself?
Well, it's, you want to compete at the best. And I've been I've been very fortunate to coach at some outstanding institutions. And Tulsa was our first. Actually, we had gone to the NCAA 4 out of 6 years. 4 of 6 years at VCU. From 79 to 86, we went to 4 NCAA tournaments. So I never then went there as a player, but I worked for J.D. Barnett, who coached me for a year here at High Point and in Richmond, Virginia. That's why. VCU has been a very good program ever since. In fact, you have one of the outstanding coaches there at University of Pittsburgh, and Jeff Capel, who coached at VCU and had an excellent record there before he went to Oklahoma. And then, so a lot of people, Shaka Smart had his start.
I was going to say, VCU has a nice little lineage, man. Was Sutton, Sutton Smith, he coached down there, I want to say.
Sonny Smith there.
Sonny Smith, excuse me. Yeah, Sonny Smith coached there. I think Sherman Dillard might have been on the staff at VCU at one point. He's out in Iowa now.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's right. So I have I'm brought up Jeff Capel because I coached against his dad when he was his dad used to coach at Pinecrest in Pinehurst, North Carolina. I was at Hope County, Rayford, North Carolina. So it's a small world, man.
Yes, indeed.
I've had a good affinity for Pittsburgh too. I'm not getting off the subject. I'm sorry, you guys want to actually.
No, I like hearing that. I like hearing that. I went to Pitt. Yeah, that's good.
Well, we coming to Pittsburgh every summer, that's one of the things that we look forward to. At Coraopolis, we used to go out there and they had the 5-star tournament. The 5-star camp out there that was run by the great Howard Garfinkel. And those kids would be out there on that black tap asphalt at Robert Morris College. And then we go to Holmesdale, Pennsylvania and it was just great. That's where Michael Jordan really became Michael Jordan in between his senior year. And if you were the camper of the week, then they scholarship you for another week. And
up at Robert Morris.
Up at Robert Morris.
This is where MJ became MJ. No way.
Huh?
No, this is where MJ became MJ.
Yeah.
No way. I didn't know this at all. Wait, did you know this, Buzz?
We talked about it already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have the.
Yeah, but a lot of coaches, he blew up that summer, because he wasn't, and then all of a sudden everybody in the world was recruiting him. But that's what the 5-star camp was about. They had about 400 kids there. And every coach in America would just about every major college coach would end up coming to Coraopolis or to Robert Morris for the 5-star camp.
Oh, that's awesome. Now I have a question about one of your players that used to play on Kentucky, Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo. Did you think he was going to be to this caliber NBA player that he's been, a champion and all-star in the league?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Rajon may be the greatest athlete I've ever coached.
Wow.
And that's coaching the Olympic team.
You coached some guys.
I've coached Tayshaun Prince, Jody Meeks, Rafael Maldonado.
You had Vince Carter with the Olympic team.
Vince Carter, but I'm telling you right now, Rajon Rondo, pound for pound,
is
as great an athlete as I've ever been around. His speed, his hands, his understanding of the game, his intellectual, his basketball IQ was second to none. Now, again, I've had guys who were maybe a better player. He couldn't. If Rajon Rondo could make the 3-point shot or hit the 3,
oh man, that changed the game for him.
He might be one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, defensively, heck, he set a record in steals as a freshman at Kentucky. He led the SEC in steals. I saw him get 19 rebounds in a game. So he's just so talented. His speed, his athleticism, he could have been any athlete. He could have been anything he wanted. A wide receiver. He was a quarterback when he was in junior high school.
Wow. Now, talented. I was going to say, so what was it like recruiting him too, man? Did you feel like right out the gate that you knew you were going to get him to commit, or how was that?
No, well, actually, he's from Louisville. and he probably wanted to go to Louisville. And we had a spot come open, to be honest with you, because he went to Oak Hill Academy.
Yeah.
He went from the high school in Louisville, and then he went to Oak Hill Academy, where Steve Smith has been there forever. They had great teams.
Oh, yeah. A ton of talented people that come through Oak Hill. Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, you think about some of the guys that have gone that, I'm just thinking about, Vince Carter didn't, but we had guys like, Carolina's had a number of different guys to come from Oak Hill Academy. The shooter from Syracuse won the national.
Mello went Oak Hill.
Carmelo Anthony. And they've had some great ones come through there. But no, you asked me about a guy that I really have Rajon, his competitive spirit. You can see it in the NBA. But he went on to win a national championship. We didn't win one. We lost in the Elite Eight, but he won one with the Boston Celtics. And I remember telling Danny Ainge and Doc Rivers how that he'd be the best athlete in their program. And he had Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. He has some players now.
Yes. I like that. Now, speaking of, just some of those top players that we've been naming off, you got a chance to coach a lot of these guys in the 2000 Olympics out in Sydney, Australia. So just talk about that experience for you, man, and ultimately what you enjoyed most about it.
Well, you know what? That may be the most pressure that I felt in a long time. Wow. Because we had to qualify. Because if you remember the previous Olympic, we didn't do well.
Yes.
And so we had to, in 99, we had Tim Duncan, Alonzo Mourning, Vince Carter. We had Jason Kidd, the glove, Gary Payton. We had Timmy Hardaway. We had Ben Baker.
Man, you got some names, baby. Talk about them.
Tom Gugliotta. We had some guys that. Oh, we had who else? We had and Antonio McDyess.
Yeah.
Loaded. We had Allen Houston, Steve Smith. Oh man, we had some. But what I'm saying is that we had to go into Puerto Rico and qualify to get to the Olympics. Now that was tough. That was hard. Then we go to Sydney, Australia, and and see Tim Duncan had knee surgery, so he didn't make the Olympics. He didn't come that year. Tom Gugliotta didn't come, but we added some other guys like Antonio McDyess and some others that really, Vin Baker, they stepped up big time, man. We had but those guys played their hearts out, and that was the Olympic where Vince Carter
jumped over the guy. Yes.
From France.
Man, that is
it was strange because I've never seen a game just stop, and even the guys from France were high-fiving him.
Dude,
the referees, everybody.
That's one of the most legendary moments ever in basketball. Like I will never forget seeing that, dude. Oh man,
that was a special time. But that was a long commitment. That's what I'm impressed with Mike Krzyzewski, and now I think Popovich would be the head coach now. I mean that you talk about a real commitment. But there's nothing greater than representing your country, representing the USA. I mean, that's pressure. You may be representing Kentucky,
right.
If you're in the NCAA tournament, or you may be representing. But when you get to that, you're representing everybody in the USA.
That's definitely big.
That's why I've got the world of respect for athletes that compete for us in the Olympics or on the world stage, when there was the World Games, University Games. I mean, that's because everybody's pulling against the USA. When you go to those.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, especially in basketball.
Now, a lot of times we hear about them saying how challenging it is from a basketball standpoint because the European style is more spaced out and the rules are a little bit different when it comes to the Olympics. But just talk about how, I guess, challenging it was for you in terms of adapting to that style of play and coaching the players. And I mean, how do you even decide who's starting or not when you got so many talented people out there?
Yeah, it's but it's like anything else. If you're at the college or high school, junior high, little dribbler level, the best are going to rise to the top. But you get a rotation. It's like in the NBA. I mean, they're NBA teams. They can't. Only 5 guys can start. But there's not much of a drop off when you have that type of talent. Everybody's a all pro caliber player, and these guys are pros. By that I mean they understand how to take care of their bodies. They understand they're disciplined on and off the basketball court. That's why they're at that level. And you try to tell young people and players at this level, at the college level, hey man, you know what sacrifices these guys making? You know how hard they work on their game. And they would, after we work out, they'd be in there working on the game, to be in the weight room. Amazing. And so, and then a lot of these guys, came right from, they came from playing all the way into June. See what I mean? And now they have to go into the Olympics, and they have to sacrifice, and they commit about 40 days, 30 some days to the team, so they don't get a break. Now, by the time they finish the Olympics, they right back at the grind again, getting ready for their NBA season.
Man, that's
so
major.
I've got the most respect for and basketball is such a demanding. I know you're a football player, but
no, man, that basketball schedule long, baby. Yeah.
But I play football myself.
Oh, okay.
And I coached football in high school for 6 years as a high school coach, but I never could figure out what position. I thought I was a running back. Because every time I try to get in the game, the coach said, "Tubby, get your tail back here." So I thought it was a tailback. But for all those years, I was.
It's like that sometimes, man.
I was playing football, and my family, imagine 17 and all, and then my relatives all in the stands, and the game pretty much done. And my family be in the stands going, "We want Tubby. We want Tubby." So the coach called me up. I grabbed my helmet, put it on. He said, "Tubby, your family's calling you. I think you better go up in the stands."
Now, can you talk about maybe your favorite or your best coaching mentor that you've had in your life? Like who do you think you've learned the most lessons from in terms of I guess just like a coaching tree?
Well, I would think that I'm sort of in the how can I say it? I learned a lot with J.D. Barnett because he coached me here at High Point from 71 to 72. And that was my junior year, and made me team captain and things like that. And then I was his assistant coach at VCU for 6 years, where we had a lot of success from 79 to 86, 85. So we were, and then he left and went to Tulsa, and I actually replaced him at Tulsa. But a lot of my, that was a really formative years for me because I left high school, and that's tough because I'd already, I went from being a high school head coach to being an assistant coach for the next 12 years.
Oh wow!
And that was a real transition. When you've been your own boss, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But that it helped that I was able to get a head coaching job immediately out of college. I became a head coach at my alma mater at Great Mills High School. Then I went to Hope County High School. Then that's when J.D. Barnett had me. I decided to join his staff at VCU. But then again, guys like Dean Smith, because I grew up in, I went to school here in North Carolina. I've had one of the guys who was most influential. I had the guy that recruited me was a guy that recruited me out of high school. I actually signed with the University of Maryland, but they let the coach go at Maryland, so I ended up coming to High Point. But Jerry Steele, who was here for 31 years as the head coach here at High Point, coaching me my senior year. So I've had a lot of good mentors, but I've worked with some great coaches. I worked alongside Rick Pitino at Kentucky, George Felton at South Carolina. I worked alongside, I mentioned J.D. Barnett in college, and some of the, like Kevin Eastman, who ended up being he was there when they won the NBA championship with Doc Rivers. So we were assistants together. So I've worked with a lot of great people. But I would say the most influential, one of the guys had a real influence or impact on my moving up the ladder in coaching was C.M. Newton, legendary coach, was AD at Kentucky when he hired me in 97, 98. But he was an Olympian. By that, he coached in the Olympics with Bobby Knight. He's passed now, but he was a great man. He played for the great Adolph Rupp at Kentucky, and he coached at Vanderbilt and in Alabama. And he was the guy that had the first black player at Alabama.
Wow.
And Leon Douglas. So, when he got it, and people wanted to tell me he was the first black coach at Kentucky, but C.M. Newton had already, he'd already experienced that at Alabama. And hiring, recruiting the first black player. So I'm just naming names. I want to make sure I don't leave many people out that have been influential.
No, for sure.
And had an impact.
Definitely understand that. Now, you've had the opportunity to coach at numerous schools. Obviously, you had your success coaching in the Olympics as well. What do you think is the reason why you've been able to be so successful at so many different locations?
That's an interesting question. I just, I was planning on staying everywhere I've ever been. And I tell young coaches that, and anybody that listen to me, whenever you take a position or a job, plan on being there for the rest of your career. And if you do that, you will put down deep roots and you'll do it the right way. You see what I mean? It's like growing a garden. You've got to cultivate it. You got to weed that garden. You've got to fertilize it, and you've got to stay the course. But then again, I remember my dad when I was at Tulsa, and I had so much. We had gone to the Sweet 16 2 years in a row. They gave me an extension on my contract, and Georgia called. The great Vince Dooley, the athletic director, Vince there, and I called C.M. Newton. Well, C.M. Newton called me, and he was kind of guiding my career. And I asked my dad, who was still alive at the time. I said, Dad, he said, boy, why would you leave Tulsa? Those people love you there. You're doing great, man. I said, well, Dad, and he's the same one that sent me off to college at High Point and told me I shouldn't, this is where I need to go. But he said, he said, your boys and everybody's happy, your wife, everybody happy? I said, yes, sir. I said, well, he said, what's the difference between Georgia and Tulsa? I said, well, Georgia's is in the SEC. They got about 20,000 students. We've got 4,000 students here. I said, he said, well, that's, boy, you're from a big family. You might want to stay. I said, well, and then I told him all the other things that they have. They have a chance to get to postseason. He said, you just went to postseason play, didn't you? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, I said, it's just a bigger and better job, and the competition is Power 5 type school. He said, well, how much they paying you there at Tulsa? He didn't know. I told him what it makes. He said, well, how much they going to pay you at Georgia? I said, well, they're going to double my pay. He said, boy, you got to go to Georgia. Because,
money talks, man.
Yeah, he said, if I could double my pay right now, son, if anybody can double their salary right now, they should do it.
It's true.
He said, so you make sure you look after your family. And so I've kind of lived by that whole motto. And I've never wanted to leave a place. Now, some places, they didn't want me there, so I had to leave. Even though we had success both at Memphis and Minnesota.
Yeah.
But that's life. That's life. I ain't mad at them.
Good life lessons there.
Yeah,
think long term, but be a little flexible.
Yeah. Well, you got to be risk takers. I was reading something the other day where Simone Biles was talking about, she would rather regret the risk she didn't take than the chances she did. See what I mean? So it was something like that. It was an unbelievable statement about, don't be regretting that I didn't take a risk or that I didn't. Yeah. So
can't live life safe like that, man.
No, you got to be willing to move.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
Opportunities present itself. And I was fortunate in my family that my dad kind of told me go away. High Point was about 6-7 hours, 8 hours from Maryland, where I was from. And since that time, I've been able to adapt and adjust. I mean, it's coaching. I mean, it's the same at the high school level. You understand what I mean? You actually, whether you're coaching JV basketball, high school basketball, junior college basketball, major college basketball, NBA, the fundamentals and the mechanics are the same. And kids want to be taught, players want to compete, and that's it. They want to be disciplined, they want to be coached. So
yeah, no doubt. Now, Moats was telling me you're an avid golfer here. Do you have a top 5 golf courses that you've played in your golfing career? Like, what are some of the big names here?
Well, some of the big places I played?
Yeah.
Whistling Straits. We were supposed to be back in Whistling Straits this year.
There we go.
Augusta?
In Wisconsin.
Augusta?
I've been to Pittsburgh. I played at
Oakmont.
Oakmont.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay.
Oakmont. I played Pine Valley. Come on, man. I haven't played Pebble Beach. That's one I want to play.
Augusta?
But I've played. Let me see some of the other ones that. Oh,
have you had Augusta yet?
The Masters?
I was supposed to play Augusta when I was at Georgia.
Oh man.
What happened?
I left there and went to Kentucky.
No.
Yeah. Actually, I was supposed. A guy called me and wanted me to go. And I said, I've got to go recruiting. It was like in September after the Masters, right before they closed the course down. It might have been August. And I said, I wish and that was the last opportunity that anybody, but I'm going someday.
Yeah.
I've been there twice. I've been there 2 times for the Masters, but I've never played it.
So what's on your list right now? Like maybe top 2 or 3 places you still want to play? Augusta.
I want Pebble Beach, Augusta. I want to play Black Page. What is it up there?
Bethpage. Yeah, up in New York.
Bethpage. Because I've played. What's the one up there in Norland that they play in New York? That's so great. Those are the ones I love to play. I like to play Michael Jordan's new course.
Where's that?
Whoa,
that Grove 23 down outside of Jupiter.
Wow. Okay.
Is there any tournaments getting played there? Are they set up for any PGAs?
Okay. He just built. He just. It's only a year old, I think, or 2 years old.
Okay. That's something to watch out for then.
Shout out to Jordan. He just said, "I'm gonna make a whole golf course."
But I'm gonna be in a. I love playing Shadow Creek in Vegas. That's a nice course. I love playing in when you go up in the mountains in Nevada. And, you play where they play in Trunk. Where they just played the tournament in Lake Tahoe.
Oh yeah. Okay.
From Maui, man, those some great courses in Hawaii. That's a blessing. I've been very blessed to have this opportunity. So, thank goodness Nolan Richardson, who used to coach at Arkansas, told me I better start playing golf because. Yeah, when I got my first head coaching job at Tulsa, because he had been at Tulsa previously, and he said, "Tubby, you need to learn to play golf."
Did you like it at first?
Pardon me?
Did you like it at first?
What, golf?
Yeah, like off the bat.
Man,
really?
No, man. No, I hated it. Man, I was, I'm losing dozens and two. I was counting I was measuring my game by the amount of balls I didn't lose.
Yeah,
I'm on that stage right now as well.
I think the first time I played, I might have lost 18 balls. Yeah. And the folks I was playing with, they looked at me like, "Boy, here, coach, here's another ball." Oh, you guys are fun to talk to, man. Anything else?
Yeah. So we got a couple more, and then we'll be out of here, man. So, I know you talked about Rajon Rondo as one of the best players that you've been able to coach in terms of athletic ability and stuff like that. But would you say he is the best player that you've coached? And this is including your Olympics and everything.
Oh man, yes, you never reveal that. But I thought Tayshaun Prince was as versatile and as gifted an athlete, and he won an NBA championship with the Detroit Pistons.
One of the most legendary plays too, when he blocked Reggie Miller's shot on the glass on the layup.
That's right. Remember that?
Yes, that was beautiful.
Saved the game. Saved the game.
Oh, no question.
So they interviewed me and said, "Did Tayshaun have?" I said he was our stopper. He was one of the top shot blockers in the history of Kentucky basketball. He was one of the top shot blockers in the SEC year in and year out. Yeah. So it wasn't, I said, no, that didn't surprise me. I knew he wouldn't give up on it.
Yeah.
He didn't give up on the play. He came from all the way across court.
It was beautiful.
To block it.
It was beautiful.
And that's the way he played. And then Chuck Hayes, who I thought
Oh man, I forgot Chuck Hayes. God.
He probably overachieved more than any player I've ever coached. The guy started for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah,
he
was
6'5",
undersized. Yes,
undersized, and he was just a beast and rebounding, one of the top rebounders in the history of Kentucky basketball, and so I've had some good players.
Man. That's awesome.
And those are guys that played for 4 years. See, now Rajon left after sophomore year, but I had Chuck and Keith, and then Keith Bogans. Keith Bogans played in the league for a long time. If he gets hurt in, we're playing Marquette in the NCAA tournament in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the Elite Eight. And that's when Dwayne Wade had a triple-double. But Keith Bogans had hurt his ankle 2 nights before against Wisconsin. And he had a high ankle sprain, and we had nobody that could really guard Dwayne Wade at that time. And we lost them, and they went to the Final Four.
Wow.
Well, we lost to Marquette, went to the Final Four. We lost to Maryland when they won the national championship. We lost to
Was that the year with Gilchrist?
State when they won the championship, when they won the national championship.
Now the year with Maryland, was that that was with Gilchrist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was Wilcox.
Oh, okay.
And the boy and Dewan, the little guard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Okay.
And they had a heck of a team, man. And that's when Gary Williams and they went on to win it. I think their only NCAA championship.
That's tight. Now, speaking of some of these players that you've talked about, man, that you played against, who would you say is the best player that you've had the opportunity to coach against?
I just mentioned Dwayne Wade. He was right up there. He had a triple-double. He was a pretty talented player. But we had to coach against North Carolina when they had Vince Carter wasn't there, but they went on a run there where they had the kids when they won the national championship with Roy Williams, his second or third year there. They had some pretty talented players. But in this league, in the SEC, oh, man, there's so many great ones. I guess coaching against Arizona when they had some who they have on their team at the time? Miles, Simon, and that group. And Jason Terry. They had a heck of a team. And then, going up against Louisville every year, I remember coaching. I didn't really coach against them, but I was assistant coach. We coached against Never Nervous Purvis Ellison. He was freshman of the year in the country. He was MVP in an NCAA tournament with Denny Crum. And he was a beast. But there's been some great. Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh.
When I was at Kentucky, he was at LSU. I was assistant coach.
Wow. Yeah, that's one right there. Whew, I like it. All right, now the last question we got for you, Coach, before we let you up out of here. We always talk, with our athletes and coaches. We ask them about their welcome to the NFL moment, welcome to the NBA moment. But for you, man, talk about your welcome to coaching moment when you finally had that moment of, oh man, this is the big league, whether it was good or bad.
When you say that, welcome to my coaching moment. Mm-hmm. I did mention the founding the championship, but I thought coaching my boys, coaching my 2 sons, my only regret in college coaches that I didn't coach my 3rd son. He went on to play at Ole Miss. So, but what I'm saying to you is nothing greater than being around my family and coaching my boys and coaching my sons. I don't think anything gets greater than family and, faith, family, and friends. And
absolutely.
So those were my moments. Those 6 years that I coached my 2 sons were the winningest years in my coaching career.
Wow. I like that, man.
All right.
I like that.
I'll leave you with that, fellas.
Yes,
it's a Deke.
Yo. Yeah.
Arthur.
Yep.
It's been I appreciate you guys allowing me to visit with you. Thanks for having me on.
No, we appreciate
you, man.
It was a blast. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And good luck this season.
Hey, you know what? One other story.
Here we go.
One of the first players I lost when I was an assistant coach at VCU was a guy by the name of Roosevelt Kirby. Look him up. He played at the University of Pittsburgh. That was back in 1981. and he was a lefty. He was a big 6'10" from Conner. He went to Conner State, I think, down in Muskogee, Oklahoma. And I went all the way out there to sign him, and that joker had already signed. I was so mad. Well, that was back when you could show up and sign a kid. Back in the late 70s and 80s, you could go there and about 4 coaches showed up. And I guess I don't know if he told everybody, but we all were expected to sign him.
He told
and he had already signed. I got there about 8:30 in the morning. He's in a class. So I knocked on the window, said, "Hey, come here, man." It took me all night to get there.
Wow.
All right, well, look, that's my story. Take care, bro.
That's funny, man. We appreciate you again, Coach.
All right.
We appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.